Good afternoon. My name is Nina Kelly, and I am a mythologist with a concentration in depth psychology. I realized I had a talent for storytelling as a very young person. When I was young, I used to listen to the stories of my ancestors, and then by the time I was 18, I'd go sit in the city square and listen to the elders talk about all their stories of their lives, and I was fascinated by their stories. I'm very fortunate because in my professional career early on, I worked with organ donation, transplantation, death, and dying. So that's a time in your life where you're always listening to stories. And I've learned that the greatest healer are the listeners. I've been very excited that I had an opportunity to be an executive producer of 3 documentaries and a short film. The first film was a short film called Dandelion, and it won the Judges Award. That was very nice. That got me enthused. The second was a documentary done by Nick Nathan, and it was called A New Leash on Life, K9 for Warriors. That documentary won 4 Emmys. I was very excited. It's a great story about soldiers that suffer with post-traumatic syndrome, and then they take sheltered dogs, train them to be with the soldiers. It was amazing listening to their stories and how they recovered from that. The second documentary, it was called Foes of Honor. This is also about soldiers, and these are soldiers that have lost their lives serving our country. This is an organization where they raise money, it's a foundation, where they make sure that the children and the family members are allowed to have education post the loss of their family member. That won the Humanitarian Award, so that was also very exciting. And then the last one was the story of Larry King, and I believe pretty much everybody knows who Larry King was. And Larry King got to a point in his life he wanted to tell his story, and it was called A Celebration of Life, and I was so excited to be a part of that because you meet someone who's in their 80s and they're so candid about, okay, I made this mistake, but I did this. And it was also about his desire as a little boy, how he wanted to be a radio announcer, and he told that story. Great experience. You know, I've written nine books so far. 3 of them are chaptered with other people, Jack Canfield, Larry King. And it would be hard to say which is my favorite book. It's like when a mother has a bunch of children, they never say that's my favorite child, because each child represents its own identity. And I was excited because I go back and I look at my books and I'm thinking each one represented a different time in my life and a different story in my life. So I look at my books as where am I now and what can I give? I've given back to my community my whole life. That is part of my MO. I believe that when the community is good to you, you must be in service of your community. So I started off very, very young in my life. And I started when I was a little girl. Actually, my mother died when I was 7. And I moved to Houma, Louisiana after her death. And I started volunteering then, and my whole life has been in service of my community. I've done many, many, many things. I have, you know, I'm Irish, so Irish are dreamers, red-haired dreamers, you know. And so I will continue to write, and then what I also want to do, I vision my books turning into film. The children's books I'd like to see turn into animation, because they're stories of the power of words, kindness, having the courage to face your fear. And then my other book, another one, Grace Has a Silent Voice, are true stories. And I wrote that back in 2015, and I wanted to honor those people that came into my life and really made a difference. The stories are all about them, and they're hero stories. I'd love to see that come into film as well. On top of all that, I'm now giving books to the Children's Hospital too. I ran many organizations. I was the president of the Opera, the president of Southern Repertory Theater, the president of the Children's Bureau, the fundraising chair for young audiences. I've always been an arts activist, so that was my way of giving back. Currently, the way I'm giving back is I was a city girl, now I'm a mountain girl, and I'm giving back to the land. I'm learning how to raise bees, that's my future goal, and put more back into the land. Really appreciate nature. The one experience that I've had in my life that has taught me the most is the precious moments in time. As I said earlier, I lost my mother very young, and it immediately taught me how important it is to be with people and that there are no guarantees, you know. And I've lost a lot of people in my life. And those are not things that you sign up for, but it also teaches you the value of every moment and embrace life. So I love life. And I think it's because of that. It's because you have losses. And then you go, oh no, but I need to have fun. I need to play. I need to be serious. You just need to live. And that's what I've learned. Yeah. I've had several events. You know, if you live long enough, you're going to have events, you know? And so I've had several episodes in my life. And one, which was when I did my research at the medical school, and I saw healing of people through stories. That was profound for me, and it was documented scientifically. Another was when everybody knows about Katrina, and post-Katrina, I was the president of the Children's Bureau, and just this agency at that time was 114 years old, and we just pulled ourselves up, and we were told to shut down, and went, I don't think so. You know, I'm not going to do that. And so, you know, we resurrected that agency. That was it. To me, that was just great. You know, I mean, I've just had so many. You know, I've had some great experiences in my life. Yeah. You know, I'm very humbled by Marquis of Who's Who. When they called me up, I was so taken back. When I received the plaques and the awards, I was like a little kid. I went, I cannot believe this, you know? I was really, and I still am, very touched, because sometimes in life, you're so busy doing, and you don't think about, you might be doing something that's worthy. And to me, this was a confirmation from the Marquis. Keep doing your work, you know, just keep moving, just go forward and don't stop. And it gave me enthusiasm about, oh boy, what's the next project? Where do I go next? So I'm very grateful for that.